Now this is going to sound counterintuitive what I'm about to say, but braking can actually make you go faster. Yeah, that's right. And I've got 3 examples to demonstrate the point, and I'm going to give you a little bit of homework so you can prove it to yourself as well. So give us a like and a subscribe if you want to see more tutorials like this in the future. Skids are definitely for kids. You know, grabbing a handful of brakes and sliding and skidding means you're losing traction, and that definitely isn't fast. Coming into a corner hot and then grabbing a handful of brakes and having to pedal out definitely isn't faster. In fact, it's probably not faster than just coming in at a nice pace and keeping your momentum through the corner. When we watch athletes on the EDR or even the Downhill World Cup, sometimes they don't look like they're going very fast at all. That's because they know coming in and flowing around some single track, around the tech and around the corners is faster than having to grab brakes and pedal out. Certainly if you're doing a full race or a full day of riding, then it's going to be a lot of effort too, and you'll definitely be slower by the end of the day. Now, here's some homework for you. Go and find a bit of single track and do a no pedal and no braking run. This is going to force you into some really good habits. You're going to have to weight that bike. You're going to have to set up for corners properly, and it will feel slow. Certainly your first run will be slow, but eventually you will speed up and you'll be doing a run without even braking. Once you've got that dialed, go and practice a smooth run, and then see if that beats your PR. I reckon it might. If you've ever followed someone down a descent and they seem to be pulling away from you, even though they're not pedaling, chances are they're just braking less than you. And I know what you're thinking, it seems obvious that you don't want to brake. But if you go down a trail telling yourself, don't brake, don't brake, don't brake, your brain's just gonna latch onto that word, brake. And you're gonna feel quite anxious, and you'll probably apply the brakes more than you need to. What you need to do is reframe your mind and think about planning your braking. Think about where you want to brake. You don't want to brake down something technical. You want to brake just before it. Get the right speed first, or brake after it so that your suspension can do its thing. So your homework this time is to find that little bit of descent or that little technical piece of riding where you often apply the brakes down, especially if it's a steep slope where you always drag your brakes. And what I want you to do is go and ride that piece of single track as you normally do, and then I want you to do it again, but this time I want you to get up to your comfortable speed before the section and then roll down it with no brakes at all. And you'll feel a lot more comfortable. Trust me, braking on tech makes everything so much worse, so give that a go. When you apply the brakes, you're obviously stopping your wheel from rotating, which means it's stopping the cassette and it's stopping the drivetrain. Especially with your weight on the pedals, it may actually lock up your rear suspension. You don't want a solid wheel or a solid suspension when you're going down a rock garden like this. So what you want to do is lay off the brakes when things get a bit rocky or technical or spicy. That way you're less likely to have a wheel or a suspension all locked up and hitting into a square-edged rock. What you need to do is actually scrub the speed before you come into a technical piece like this, and then just lay off the brakes and let your suspension do its thing. You can scrub speed off at the bottom, or you can find nice smooth sections where you can scrub a little bit of speed and then let it roll for the rest. So your homework is every time you're out riding, anytime you see a rough section in the trail, you need to let your suspension do its thing, lay off the brakes. Now that means sticking with that positive mind frame of planning your braking and thinking about where you're going to brake rather than telling yourself not to brake. And honestly, these rough sections are going to feel so much smoother when your suspension is allowed to work. If you brake in a corner, like a big wide open corner or even a bermed corner, it can actually make your bike want to stand up. So this means it will be like a bit of a fight with opposing forces trying to go into a corner. At worst, it might actually stand your bike up, which means you'll understeer and actually blow out the corner entirely. So obviously braking isn't great, but sometimes braking can actually help you in a corner, believe it or not. If there's a sharp corner, a little dab of the back brake can actually skid your back end round so that you can sharpen up that corner, which might be faster. Sometimes if you're going down really steep descents, using the front brake might actually be better for you because your weight is on the front and it will grip better. So this final piece of homework will allow you to feel how each brake will affect you and your bike in different scenarios. Now what you need to do is ride with a little bit of speed on a fire road or a dirt path, and then I want you to throw your weight back over the back wheel and apply your back brake. Then I want you to do the exact same thing and apply your front brake, and see how that differs. Your bike should behave completely differently. Also, I then want you to do it again where you put your weight over the front and apply the back brake. And then again, weight over the front and apply your front brake, and see how that affects things. I think you'll find it's really noticeable. Hopefully you found that useful, and hopefully if you do all of my pieces of homework, you'll figure out how braking can actually make you go faster. And if you do any of my bits of homework, do come back and let me know down in the comments below, how did it go for you? Was it better? I want to hear from you. Thanks for watching.